my best friends. Some people say we have a problem, but every night I make a new best friend, and the only problem is we like having a good time.
Hello, everyone. It is Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. And you know what that means.
What does it mean? We're going to talk about our days, and that's it. Yeah. Nothing really
It means is another episode of Between Two Beards.
Freshly
I'm
cleaned up
JPJ.
beards.
Yeah, a little bit. It is that holiday time. We will go fresh haircuts for both of us. You're covering yours up. I decided a rare occasion where I will not be wearing a hat this evening.
I think this is the first episode you didn't wear a hat.
It's probably up there, either one or two. It's really only when my barber decides to do the product in my hair. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to ruin his work.
Yeah, I got a haircut today too. They did not. I almost fought a 10-year-old kid for saying wrestling sucks in the chair.
Yeah, you told me that story.
Talking to his
You told me
barber.
that story off
He goes,
air
wrestling
before the
sucks.
show.
And I giggled and said, it does not.
Personally, I would have thrown him through the barbershop window. That's what I would have done. I'd been like, oh, yeah?
But
oh, yeah. You know? I would have been like, does it suck now? That's what I would have said.
Let's not waste any more time because we have a very special and expensive guest today. When we left this very program a week ago, so last Thursday, Mrs. Pluggo's in the house. Big Ben is in the house. Look at those hawkins swinging beauties. Merry Christmas has come through. Baby Santa Jesus Minoru Suzuki. I bet he's got a big hog too.
Minoru?
Suzuki. I know Big Ben does. He's a hog. He's a card-carrying member of the Hog Society. But we leave this program Thursday. All is well. We had Bad Blood on. Friday rolls around. SmackDown was decent. We had it, and then NXT Deadline and ROH Final Battle.
Saturday was a great day. Saturday was a great wrestling day.
Professional wrestling, and then Monday hits, and all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to bring on a very special guest to help us unpack all of this crazy. It started with Riddle. It's ending with Mandy Rose. There's some Vince McMahon sprinkling in there. Triple H hates his talent that he brought back. I don't know, but he's here. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Warren Hayes. What is good, my friend?
Oh, thank you. Hello, fellas. I'm glad to be here once again. It's always like, right? Isn't it always like it's these weeks, right? It's these weeks that just everything happens all at once, and it's exciting, and the shows write themselves. There you go. It's a good time to be a wrestling content creator. Let's put it
true.
that way.
Mrs. Pluggo saying hi, Warren.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
She's doing fine. She's married to me.
I mean,
no.
Just kidding.
It was quite
I tell that story all the time. That's your wife? Yes, it is.
That's your wife?
Do you have money? No, I don't.
Like you could see the shock and amazement in Warren's face live as it was happening. Like, that's your wife.
It was the most sincere reaction I ever had.
It truly was. Like you probably couldn't have a more sincere reaction than a guy not knowing how to physically react to what he's seeing.
Holding your newborn child for the first time. Seeing Pluggo's wife. Like,
that's your wife? That's your wife. Wow. Okay.
I don't know
what you did, but
all I know is I'm waiting for her to wake up from
Neverland, wherever she is.
She'll wake up one day and realize, I just wasted all that time on Pluggo. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my marital status.
No.
I think it's doing pretty good, Mrs. Pluggo in the chat.
I feel like you're all right. You got 6 Christmas trees now.
6 Christmas trees now. We have one in the bed.
It was 4 last year, Warren. This was a heated debate.
Now we're up to 6.
It was 4 last year. Pluggo just says, happy wife, happy life. That's what he says. It's what the wife wants. But they have 6 now.
Are you in the 1%?
I think so.
We talk my Elon Musk.
Why 6 Christmas trees? Why do you want 6 Christmas trees? One for each day of the week, and then you take a break on Sunday? Like, what's the?
If we could have a 7th, we would.
I think the goal is they want to have a Christmas tree.
All right. It's that time of year. Let's hammer this out before we get down into it. So this is what went down last year. We put up our tree. We bought a new house. we have this dead space. So I told this story already on here last year. We had this dead space on our dining room area, and she said a tree would be perfect there. And I said, of course, honey, happy wife, happy life. You do you. I'm not going to say no to you because look at me, look at you. You go ahead. So we had the 2. Then she said we need these 2 little accent trees to kind of tie it all together because, you know, it looks nice. And I said, sure. So now we have the 4. This year rolls around, which is 2022. She found some deal. They were like 70% off.
So they were still $200.
She's like, you know what would be great? A tree in our bedroom. And I was like, sure.
A Christmas tree in your bedroom?
Hey, listen, if that, I'm just saying, it lights up the room, it accents, it's nice. And then the boys were like, well, now we want a tree in our room. So
they would just start. Okay, so how about you move one of the other 5 into the boys' room?
Good point.
Instead of getting a 6th, how about we just move one of the other 4, whatever's left, throw one in there.
She has her Christmas tree. She lets me do things like this and talk to you, gentlemen.
I mean, that's a fair, you know, cool.
I'm just gonna say I just sat down on a Saturday and organized NXT.
I thought you were gonna say I just sat down on a Christmas tree. I thought that's what you were gonna say right there. But these are all decorated, so you have to buy ornaments, enough ornaments to decorate 6 Christmas trees as well, and lights.
You should know. I'm not saying no to anything she wants. Like it's
look, I mean that's fine. I mean, you know, it's eventually gonna, you know, what's cool is that at some point there's going to be so many Christmas trees, right? Is that, you know, you're going to, in your home, you're going to screw up the migration pattern of moose. You know, they're going to start going through your house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see, she has 3 small ones.
She says they got 3 full-size trees and 3 little.
Now okay, hang on. The accent trees, you talked about accent trees. Are they like spruce as well, or do you go like with another type of tree, like a small maple, perhaps, or you know, a birch? You know,
plug on here. I don't know. They just have Christmas trees. They're trees.
They're spruce trees.
Yeah, spruce trees are Christmas trees for the most part.
Yeah, they keep those moose.
If you're going accent, you could go, oh well, why don't we do like a, you know, a nice golden maple kind of thing, or you know, a weeping willow? How about that? You know,
all I know is if anything ever happens to Mrs. Pluggo, I have a Christmas tree farm ready to go. I can make a little bit of money. And I'll be okay. The kids and I will be fine.
With what they're charging this year for Christmas trees, you can make more than a little bit of money.
Mrs. Pluggo, in her defense, is like the queen of like deals and couponing, and like she finds stuff.
She has the trapper keepers, like the binders.
No, she's not
one of those people.
I
worked in a grocery store for 10 years of my life.
She's got.
There are those people. They would come through.
Are there a lot of them?
Oh my God, yeah. They would come through with their $300 orders, and they would literally pull out a binder, and their order would end up being like $86. And I'd be like, I don't have time for this right now. What is going on? Thank you. Well, appreciate that, my friend.
That's never been debated on this show. Your beard's immaculate. Mine is.
There you go. She's saying I hardly paid anything for them, so she gets so much free stuff.
See, one of the trees was gifted to her.
What? Did they know you already had 5?
Yeah. All I'm going to say is that friend of hers is a pusher. Peer pressure. I don't like the crowd she's hanging out with.
Well, they're bad. She's listening to you, man.
Fine.
Just openly saying you don't like her.
She also,
like, what the hell's going on?
She also bought a very comfortable couch because she's very good at that too. So I've got a nice place to sleep if things go sideways.
There you go.
I'm set, man. I got this all figured out.
All right. Hey, it's Christmas time, man. We had a Christmas intro. Like, I'm good. I'm all for Christmas. I'm all for Christmas.
They're winter trees. They're not. Yeah. See, Mom got a tree for Christmas.
There you go.
You know, we have. It sounds crazy, but it's not crazy. It's just life, you know.
Ophelia coming out saying you don't have to justify anything. All right, you just
say,
enjoy the holidays.
The AJ McLean pillow has made its way under said bedroom Christmas tree.
I'm sorry, Ophelia. 7 Christmas trees demands an explanation. I'm sorry. One more.
If you have enough Christmas trees for every day of the week, there might be a problem. Just a slight problem.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
For us, this is 81 episodes plus a bunch of specials. So we're about 90 into this thing. Yeah. So imagine me trying to explain this to guests as like a new podcast going, because everyone in the comments all winter last year was like, Pluggo's got 4 Christmas trees. What do you think about that, Alex Kane? Like,
literally.
Shit.
I almost asked everybody that was, hey, Billy Starks, what do you think about Pluggo having 4 Christmas trees? What do you think about that? I need to know what your opinion is of that. But anyway,
I don't think we're here to talk about trees.
We are here to talk some wrestling. There was a lot of wrestling, good stuff in the ring, bunch of crazy stuff outside of the ring, stories galore. Where do we want to start, gentlemen? There's a lot. We can start a lot of places. We can start a little final battle. We can start NXT Deadline, which I thought was a damn good show, shockingly enough. For someone who doesn't really pay attention to NXT in this new iteration often, I wanted to watch it because it was a debut of a new match type. I wanted to see what it was about. I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed those new matches and how much I like them. And I thought the event as a whole was really good. I thought the Braun Breaker Apollo Crews match was really good. I just thought it was a good event. We were talking off air, besides Booker T, who is just...
I guess we're starting with Deadline then. I guess.
We might as well, dive super deep into it, but what did you think of the Iron Survivor?
Yeah, the Iron Survivor Challenge. Let's get your opinion, Warren. Like, how did you think the new match because listening to it and hearing all the rules and all this stuff, I was like, this is going to be a convoluted piece of shit. But I was like, that's what this is going to be. But I actually enjoyed them. I actually did.
I was rubbing my hands together and like, oh, this is going to be such a train wreck.
Exactly.
But
that's what we said.
It turns out it's a really fun new match type. I dug it. But okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a stipulation at some point that you could lose points? Or did I make that completely up?
That's what I said on Saturday. I was like, I thought if you got pinned, you lost the point.
Right.
You got DQ'd. I could have swore.
But it seems to me as well. But thankfully not, because I think it would have just convoluted shit. I think it's great. You know, I thought the guys match was outstanding.
I agree.
I think it's one of WWE's best matches of the year. I appreciated and enjoyed the work of the women's match, but the women's match didn't feel organic. I don't know if that makes sense. This is what I was talking about on the podcast. It's like it felt like you could see the production. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you could see, oh, this is what is supposed to happen here. But I mean, the women work their asses off. Don't get me wrong. It's fine, you know, but the guys match, it just blew it open for me. And I was like, oh, I get it.
I think they had they got to go second type deal. I think they ran that women's match, and then the men's, I wonder if they tweaked anything at backstage. Like, no, let's try this and move this pace along a little bit. Or
there's a couple of things where I'm like, I feel like the guys got all the cool spots, you know. I feel like the guys, they had they got to do all the cool stuff, like Grayson Waller coming in, nailing two
back-to-back pinfalls,
the fight in the penalty box.
That was cool.
Which I thought that was amazing.
Oh, the camera of him sliding down the glass, JD McDonough, like the movie shot of the breath and the
moonsault off of the penalty box. Like, I think the guys get all the cool shit, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas the girls, and these are production discussions, right? Like, it's not like the girls probably didn't want it. It's not like they didn't want to do it. They were told, no, we're going to do that with the guys. No, we're going to do that with the guys. We're going to do that with the guys. Mm-hmm. So I think the guys got which is why I feel that match came together more. It made more sense. You started to see, oh, these are the possibilities that you have here. And there's a great future for that match. No, I think this is the best thing NXT did since No came around.
I agree. And what I enjoyed, I just thought the sense of urgency.
Yep.
That was a big thing for me, even with the women's match, which I do agree the men's match was, in my opinion, a lot better. They were both good and entertaining, but I thought the men's was just a level above.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but what I enjoyed the most was the sense of urgency from everybody. Like it was 25 minutes, but from when the bell rang, it was, I got to win. I got to figure it out. I got to win. And I loved it.
As a guy who, I'm a casual WWE viewer, which is, their target audience, right? That's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
I don't watch NXT regularly. So, a guy like Grayson, oh, look at that. Look at that. He's got another Christmas tree. He's drinking from one.
There you go.
And delivered. Look at that. I don't watch it on the regular, so I'm not familiar with the character of Grayson Waller, right?
Oh, he's perfect for this.
Grayson Waller running in, landing that double bulldog or whatever, getting 2 pins. I popped out of my seat and I was like, I understand what this guy is about. I get it.
Yep.
You don't need weeks of fucking weirdo build and convoluted stories to get a guy over. I understand what this guy's about now. He comes in, rushes it. He doesn't jog. He doesn't do his pose or whatever. He just darts, goes and gets a double pin straight off straight out of the gate, and then scores his third. And then he's like, "No, man, you're not going to catch me." Starts running around. He sees JD McDonough in the ring, who's passed out because he got knocked out. He pushes him out of the ring so that Carmelo Hayes doesn't get a pin on him. I'm like, this is my favorite wrestler. He's my favorite wrestler in this match. Everything is perfect. I get it. Everything makes sense. He was fantastic. He's absolutely the guy. I love that.
Oh, yeah. And, a lot of people, and again, I am also not a regular watcher of NXT. Pluggo watches 2.0 a lot more, or whatever it is now, just NXT again, whatever. But he watches this iteration more often than I do. But Grayson Waller, I feel like...
Yeah, it's Grayson.
Yeah, but I feel like Grayson Waller is the guy that gets a lot of hate on social media. Like, a lot of people just shit on this guy. Mm-hmm. He is perfect, and I think he should be the guy that takes the belt off of Braun Breaker, if you want my honest opinion. But he's perfect for this type of... How he performed on Saturday, like Warren said. From the second he got in that to the second he won it, that is everything you want in a cocky shit heel. He did what he had to do. He's annoying. He got those back-to-back pins, and then he has that cocky smile like, hey, look at me.
He's amazing.
Look at me. Yep. I am that great. You know what I mean? Like, it's perfect. People were shitting all over, oh, why Grayson? Because, yes, that makes sense. That's why.
Like, let's be honest. Who else in the match?
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Carmelo Hayes. Like, I know a lot of people. Carmelo Hayes would have probably been another great choice, but he is above NXT.
Yeah, he needs to go. That should be the last time we ever see him on NXT. To be honest.
Honestly, and this is the thing, is like if he can't crack, isn't this like his second crack at a number one contendership for?
Yeah, he's never had the NXT main title. He's only been the North American guy. Yeah.
So and like he's even had another crack at the North American title, right? And he failed that.
Yes.
So if he's failing out of title shots, it's time to hit the bricks. Get that kid out of there. He's too good. He's too good.
Mm-hmm.
JD McDonough, I don't know, man. Like, look, there's a bunch of reasons on top of that. Not Axiom and his blurry fast entrance.
How did you feel about that? Because they started wrestling.
Watching
Lose him. They started wrestling while that entrance effect was still happening, and it was very bizarre. It was very bizarre. I was like, okay.
It's all these little things that annoy me so much about WWE. And Joe Gacy, you're like, whatever, no, it's Grayson Waller. He looks like a star, and honestly, he's the guy that has to take it off of Braun Breaker at this point.
Agree. I truly agree. And then Braun can come up to the main run, and that's how you roll. And then Waller's that heel champion that everyone loves to hate, and it just makes sense. But yeah, it's not too often that you get a new match type nowadays. And I thought, this is a match that can move forward. And yeah, it was a success. It was very, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, that same day, a little bit earlier in the afternoon, we had a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, which I thought, all in all, from top to bottom, was a really solid, really good show.
You know what? If you watched both shows on Saturday, you had a wonderful Saturday.
That was a good Saturday of wrestling. That was two good shows.
All downhill from Saturday.
All the crazy stuff happened after. But
Saturday ruled.
There were a lot of good matches on that, including a few of the matches that were on the 0 hour as well. That tag match with the Kingdom and Top Flight was excellent. If you have not seen it, go get it. Go watch it.
Notice how if you noticed how much of the charisma Darius is in that tag team.
Yes.
Dante Martin he's athletic, he's excellent, but he really is the awkward little brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Darius he's the charisma, he's the guy, like he's the showman, and it's crazy. I don't know why it really stuck out to me in this match where I'm like, you're drawn to Darius, like come for Darius, but stay for Dante kind of thing.
Yeah. And I thought
just got to keep that guy healthy for a long.
You do, yeah. He's had a tough run of luck when it comes to injuries, and like one of them was a car. Like it wasn't even an in-ring thing. It was just he had the big in-ring injury, came back, and then a horrific car. Like it's just been a bad run of luck for him. But that match was very, very good. I thought Willow Nightingale and Trish Adora had a really good match. It was a quick one. It was more of a sprint type match, but it was again very good. And then you got to the main card, and the main card was full of good matches. Obviously, the double dog collar match. I mean, what more can be said? Like those teams could fight each other a million times, and they would be classics, every single one of them.
I mean,
it's a violent mess.
It's.
Mark Briscoe was bleeding less than 30 seconds into that match.
I mean,
less than 30 seconds into that match.
He looked like Jay Briscoe looked like the Great Muta at some point.
Literally.
What we got there, like at the end, I take a deep breath and I'm like, this is one of the greatest wrestling matches I've ever seen. And I've seen two of these this year, and the other one was the Briscoes and FTR.
Yeah,
because it's what I said at the end of the first tag team match they had. I was like, this is one of the greatest tag team matches I've ever seen. And now I'm back doing it again. And it's one of the greatest dog collar matches ever put on. We're going to have to put it up there with Piper and Valentine, unquestionably. That was just a perfect use of it. And we're going to have to legitimately consider these two teams, this series of 3 matches. We're going to have to put it up there with some of the other great series that we've had with the Omega Okadas, the Steamboat Flairs, it's right up there. Online people are going to nitpick and bitch about Dax Harwood's tweeting and but the Briscoes can't be on Brothers TV, and that's what they're going to nitpick at instead of enjoying three of the greatest tag team matches of the past 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Time, when is the last time that two tag teams put on the regular every quarter at this point, of the year? Just extraordinary match. And we're talking more than extraordinary, like excellent, legendary.
Yeah, true. It's probably been longer than 5 years.
I was just saying that, like, the amount of time it took to get here, and now they're just like the chemistry the two teams have. That I was intrigued on how the dog collar is going to work together, and it was just perfect. And like you said, all those nitpicking people can't be on Warner Brothers TV. Well, Tony Khan has proven he will find a way to get talent on other shows to make it all work. But why complain? Why complain about the result if the match was so good? Like, I know everybody has they pick their dog in the fight, so to speak. But damn, just like sit back and go, that was awesome. Like,
the point is again, we get so wrapped up in the meta of wrestling sometimes. Then it's just like we don't focus on the great stuff that's happening before us because we're like, oh well, were the Bucks and the Elite really that nice, in the whole thing? Because I think they have their share to blame. Who cares? They're putting on week after week with Death Triangle right now since they've come back, just a series of bomb matches. And we're gonna sit around and we're gonna be like, yeah, but then CM Punk maybe was right. They made it like in 10, 15, 20 years when all these upstart content creators are going to come and try and take our places. they're going to start reviewing.
Are you saying I've got 10 to 15 years to do this before? Okay, sweet.
Yes.
Dope.
No, but they're going to be sitting back and they're going to be reviewing these matches. They're going to be making fun of us.
Yep.
They have to be making fun of us, saying, all people could talk about was Dax Harwood being a mark for himself. And they're right.
Mm-hmm.
They're right. Because that's the discourse that permeates instead of going all in and saying, this was one of the fucking best matches you will ever look at.
Yep.
I don't get it, man. Sometimes I really don't.
I mean,
we fell into that trope a little bit with the NXT deadline thing. We kind of went in with some low expectations and, here's this goofy match. And then we just sat back and we watched the show and we watched it together and we're just like, this is fantastic. Who cares about all the other
fairness,
stuff?
We came in with low expectations because NXT created that.
But isn't that nice?
Yes.
Where it's like kind of the twofold with the Briscoes and FTR. We came in with high expectations and they knocked it out of the park even more. So it's just like, just enjoy that. Like, enjoy the fact that it was a good show and let's not worry about what CM Punk said last night. Like, it's nice. I like it. Wrestling, but he didn't say anything this week yet that I know of. He didn't have to.
No.
I think he left a comment on Sasha Banks's Instagram Live at some point. Didn't she? She did an Instagram Live with Bailey, right?
Yes, I think they were at some sort of charity thing, or she was at a charity thing. Well, we can talk about her too because
she was posting with Paige or Saraya now. But
she might be posing in ring with Saraya at some point soon if the rumors are to be true. Also, I wanted to get your opinion on this, Warren, because I saw a very divisive. People were really pissed off that Jericho tapped out to the swing. Really pissed off. Some of these people on social media, I'm like, bro, it ain't that serious. It ain't that fucking serious. It's wrestling, guys. I've watched a gentleman put a snake sock over his arm and give someone a chop and pin somebody. You're fucking flipping out because he tapped out? Because I would be puking if I was Jericho. That was 35 seconds he was in that thing.
I would challenge anyone, to go to the county fair, and go up to the carnies and ask them to beat them up for 13 minutes, then immediately jump into the teacups, right?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Go on the Matterhorn after you just run a marathon for 15 minutes. See how you feel.
And be 52 on top of it.
What are we talking about? Some people were really upset.
And Jericho doubled down on it on Dynamite this week where he's like, this move is savage. It has to be banned. You're like, oh, bravo.
Literally. I could not believe some of the people that were so butthurt. I will say that butthurt at bruh. It's like, dude, relax. It's okay. It's not like that's how the match started and it ended that way. You know what I mean? They had just wrestled for 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
The iron claw, it's putting your hand on someone's forehead. Oh, you're squeezing the temples. Yeah. Sure. But then suddenly this person's arms are completely incapacitated, right? They have to flail around. They can't take swings at the dude, right? It's like, oh, now get it off. Tap, 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 Yeah. It's it's pro wrestling. And why not put the big swing over? Put the big swing over. Everyone likes
everyone loves it. It's a great move. Yeah. Bebe 316, what's good, friend? Welcome.
Always good to see you, my friend, popping in there. Yeah, and it's one of those things where
the finger poke of doom.
It's one of those things where it's hey, Claudio's never. I did. I said, this morning on Firmly AW we were talking about this, and I said, it's wrestling. Dumb shit happens. Crazy things happen. It's wrestling.
It's wrestling.
What are we talking about? Claudio, Cesaro, he's never won a match with the swing until this moment. But guess what? Now in the back of your head, everyone knows he can. What's wrong with that?
There's a guy who won a match last night on Dynamite doing the running shooting star press.
Yes. Yeah.
So which is absolutely a transitional move these days. But he won the match with it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anyone going, woo. It is what it is. It's just a big dumb wrestling move. And the move that's over.
Yeah.
And let's not forget The Rock would finish matches doing a silly elbow thing.
Yeah.
Running over the guy and just doing a two-step and then landing it, and that would be considered a finisher. Come on, folks. Okay.
Because when The Rock did it, there was extra force.
Maybe Jericho
from the run
tap
and
his
the little flippy elbow.
Maybe but maybe that's what affected him this week when he lost the action on Andrade. Yeah. Andrade, is it Andrade? Andretti.
Andretti, like the race car driver.
No, his actual name is Ocho. He is Chris Jericho.
He is. I mean that again,
poor Chris
we're
Jericho.
We're kind of hopping all over the place, but since we mentioned him a few times, that moment I like that. It was the best part of the show last night, in my opinion. The crowd was perfect. The way that match was booked was perfect. The whole thing, the promo, like Warren said earlier, where he not only said that the swing should be banned, but he also was like, I'm just going to beat the crap out of a jobber tonight.
I need a tune-up.
And in my brain, I was like, I didn't expect it to be somebody who I wasn't really familiar with. I expected it like he thought he was going to be facing a jobber, and then it wouldn't be a jobber. Like, that's how I thought it was going to go.
Good call.
But then it ends up being a guy that you look at and you're like, oh, that's a guy that most of us don't know. So maybe he is.
He gets the jobber entrance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already in the ring, like everything.
You got the Jericho graphic. That's how little they knew of him.
Yeah. They put up the whoopsies, and even the audience was into it because they were chanting, "Let's go jobber,
Let's go jobber," which was excellent.
But just as they're going to commercial, on top of that, commentary's doing the work because Excalibur's like, well, I can't believe we're going to commercial on this. But he's like, well, this should have been over by now.
Yeah, literally. I can't believe we're actually getting this match is going to get a picture-in-picture, but we
exactly
kicked out of the friggin' code breaker.
It's like
once he kicked out of that code breaker, right? Because it was one of those things where you're like, the match is building, and you're like, okay, so this is going to be one of those things where he's going to get his flurries in, and it's going to be like, oh, and then all of a sudden, code breaker or Judas effect, and it's like, oh, party time's over, guys. Party time's over. And it just never happened. It never happened.
No, I thought it was over when he caught him for the walls. It's like, all right, this was fun.
Yeah, but there were like 3 or 4 times where he caught him with something. I was like, oh, okay, fun's over. And then it was like, no, this guy's gonna fucking win. This guy's gonna.
It's kind of like when you come to. It's kind of like when you come to my house. You're like, oh, that's a really nice Christmas tree. And then there's another one. Yeah. And then there's another one.
Never ends.
And it never ends. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? This
fucking Twilight Zone over here. What the hell's going on here?
And you can't put over enough the work that Chris Jericho did in this show because there were no tells. There were no tells that he was going to lose. Like sometimes wrestlers they'll be a little look, there'll be a little something they do. You're like, oh shit, he's going to lose. Like Chris Jericho ran this just like he was going to lose, and the face he had, and I don't remember if it's when he got rolled up after the walls or when he landed the code breaker and Andretti kicked out, but he had this look, and not the NXT. I can't believe they kicked out of my finisher look. It wasn't that. It more like a self-realization. Is like,
have I lost a step?
Am I washed?
Yeah,
exactly. Did that swing ruin me?
Yeah,
exactly. It's like, is this? Is my equilibrium off forever now? Like, whatever. Incredible. It was just an incredible. And I was listening to a podcast before coming to join you guys. And like, so I can't take full credit for this, but this is a match, that goes into the defense of people who say 5-star ratings scales don't work because if you do if you judge your ratings on work rate and so on and so on, this wasn't it. Like the match at some point you'd say a little rough, it's new, he's 3 years in the business, whatever. It's not a big deal, but you can't this was a 5-star performance for maybe a 3.5, 3.25 match, but you can't sit down and say this is a match of the year kind of thing because you're like, well, no, it was a 9-minute match and it didn't have
it's a match of the year for somebody, Warren.
Well, you know what I'm like. The point being, I'm trying to make is that for anyone who says 5-star ratings don't work, this is the match that you can point to because everyone is raving about it. Everything. Well,
it was the talk of Dynamite, and we had a main event world title match that was also very good too. But the talk of Dynamite was Action Andretti, and what happened there because it was so organic and so unexpected. And we talked about it before we came on. The crowd, first of all, that crowd last night throughout that whole show ruled. Great crowd.
Was not a Christie, Texas crowd.
No, it was a excellent crowd, but the crowd knew the assignment of that match. And the second he really kicked out of the code breaker, you could feel that crowd be like, oh shit, is something crazy like going on here? Like, are we about to see something special? Like, is something happening here? And you could feel, I did see people on social media saying, yeah, this was the John Cena Kurt Angle moment, even though Cena lost that match. But it was like, oh man. And like, good on Jericho, like for multiple reasons. That could have Tony Khan could have ran that idea by Jericho, and Chris Jericho being who he is could have easily been like, no, I'm not doing that. And then that would have been the end of it. And Tony Khan would have been like, all right. And that could have been it.
Yeah. Jericho could have pulled it. This isn't going to work for me, brother. And that's
exactly. But he was like, no, this is better for this guy, this company, this show. I'm a leader here. I'm one of the main. Let's go. And like Warren said, like there were no tells. It was as organic as it could feel like.
And it wasn't a fluke win. I talked about this on my Dynamite review, which you should watch on YouTube. Mr. Warren Hayes. It's available right now, but not right now. Listen to us. But it's like I said. Here's a little taste, though. Not a fluke win. Not a crossbody that gets rolled over into a pin. Not a surprise. Someone comes out at the top of the ring, and then the other guy comes in and rolls him up from behind because he got distracted. The kid.
Hey, Chris, I'm up here.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's music hits and, wrestlers being, fucking goldfish brained, what? Music,
Yeah.
The kid does a running shooting star press, lands flat on Jericho, covers him clean as a sheet.
He just straight up beat Chris Jericho. Like, he just beat him.
There's nothing you can say to the opposite here. He beat Chris Jericho clean as a whistle. And this kind of thing hasn't happened in a while. And, I saw
like a 1, 2, 3 Razor Ramon type moment, right? But it's not even that.
It's not even that, because
that was a fluke. Like, oh, he hit one move and boom, it was holy shit, what just happened?
It was exactly a crossbody thing where and Sean Waltman rolled over Scott Hall for the 3 and he rolls immediately out of the ring, and Scott Hall is throwing a fit, and he's like, "Fuck you, don't get back in here!" It was a fluke. So it's not even comparable to that, and it's not comparable to John Cena and Kurt Angle, because, like you guys said, John Cena lost the match. So this is fantastic. Now, I think it's fair knowing Tony Khan. Now that we've seen him, we have a couple of years now in the pocket. I am not super confident for the follow-up on this for Action Andretti. Not sure where we're going with this. I'm not sure he's, what are we going to do with this moving forward? Are we going to maintain this superstar aura that we've instantly created? And I think it's fair to not be confident about it, but let's talk about it in a month.
Yeah. But man, that was
moment. I mean,
Dave 316 saying MCW said that Andrade will still be their champion.
Is he their current champion? Well, there you go. I mean, he's officially all elite, though. He got the graphic.
Yeah, you can
got
do
the
that,
graphic after the show. So
they can do that. Athena's the Warrior Wrestling champion as well as now.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Khan, he's much more liberal when it comes to letting his people.
We talked about quite a bit of positive. Should we transition into the weeds here?
I mean,
I don't even know where to begin, because all of the stuff that happened this week ties all into the stuff that happened this week. Yeah. All optically, the whole WWE system as a whole is just a hot fucking mess right now.
Well, so a couple weeks ago, last week, Matt Riddle gets the shit kicked out of him on Raw, and they say, he's got to be out for 6 weeks, and I'm thinking, all right, they probably got nothing for him. He's going to be in the Rumble, heading towards Mania. They'll probably have him rest up, whatever, cool. And then the news comes out earlier this week that he actually got popped for his second failed drug test of the year, which is unfortunate. I don't know, again, what it was, whatever. There have been some reports. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not. So I don't want to speculate too much. But WWE doesn't really test that often or at all anymore for marijuana, which was, why he got. Yeah, they don't anymore. So it's clearly not that, because that's why he got fired from UFC, was for marijuana. So it's clearly got to be something more serious, whether it's performance enhancing or, God forbid, a higher drug, cocaine, whatever. But he's got to go to rehab. And that's what he's going to go to rehab. He's going to figure it out. Hopefully, we hope for him personally, not even for the performer or wrestler side of it, but like it's a dangerous thing, addiction and stuff like that. So we hope that he gets the help that he needs. But I mean, that sucks, man. Riddle is, whether you're pro Riddle, negative Riddle, whatever, like he is a good performer. He's a guy that is over with the crowd, and it just stinks to see. And that was kind of the first kind of negative thing that we heard about this week, was Riddle having to go away for getting suspended, having to go away and go to rehab because obviously he's dealing with some personal stuff that he needs to hopefully clean up. So that's a little unfortunate. Yeah. Anybody else on Matt Riddle? We just running through the list? Anybody else? No. I mean, what else?
It's one of those things with Riddle.
It's hard to talk about because it's like, what are you gonna do?
Because I don't have all the facts, but again, it's just somebody that kind of knows in that realm of like a sobriety thing. Like, if the WWE is making you go, does he really want to be there? Type deal. So that aside, but my problem is like, this is Riddle's now second offense, so that's his second his second wellness pop, plus all of the negative stuff that he had. So this is where I said like all this stuff kind of ties into what happened with Mandy. It's like you've given Riddle the benefit of the doubt, chance after chance. Optically for the WWE this week, not great. Like I just hope he gets his help that he needs, but I think is he worth all of the problems?
Yeah, and baby, we're about to head there,
right
brother.
There.
We're about to head there. We're about to head into that.
Of issues. So in that end, like for me, like knowing what we know now, so when we found out this news, it's like we think Riddle's a good performer, yada yada yada. Is he worth all of the headaches long term? I don't know, because he seems, since he's been there, to just have issue pop up after issue pop up, and they keep just, here you go, here's another shot, here's another shot. Like he's running out of chances now, but is it worth it for him to play the bongos on TV?
Does Riddle drive business? Like that's all. Like, and I'm asking, very hypothetically. I don't think there's any sustaining evidence that people tune into his quarter hours then leave, kind of thing. I don't think there's any evidence to that. I would probably say that he's a very good merch pusher.
Yeah.
Pusher. But as with RK Bro and and his weed innuendo as well. I think it's okay. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay. I don't, I do not want anyone to be caught in any type of get into the throes of addiction. It is a terrible, awful place to be in. So, it's hard to wish that upon even people that I don't like, i.e. Matt Riddle. So I hope that he for his kids' sake, I hope he's able to knock whatever is haunting him. We don't want wrestler deaths either. We don't want any of that shit. It's just terrible. So hopefully he can get that sorted out. That being said, it was revealed that he had been also previous to this, just before his suspension, he was not fulfilling his court ordered not appointments, but requirements towards his ex, where he was supposed to be supplying her with the results from his WWE drug testing. Oh, surprise, surprise. Now we know why. He has.
You don't want to mess around with that. That can get bad.
No, exactly. Like, it's he didn't do that, right? And he hasn't been doing this routine lab testing stuff, and apparently, he drained their joint accounts and didn't return the funds to that joint account that they had until she filed a motion in contempt of court because he wasn't fulfilling his part of the bargain. So he put the money back in the account when the wife got the courts involved. It was like, oh shit, okay, I'll put the money back, and then this happens. Look, how much of a headache is Matt Riddle worth for real? Like, how much is he worth? And the thing is he's very good, but how special is he? And I don't think he's that special, and especially in an environment like WWE, which prides itself on being a factory of superstars, right?
Yeah.
We have a performance center, we pump out superstars.
Right.
How many dudes are waiting just to take a spot? There's dozens of them,
Yeah. It's true.
And I usually, with these type of things, I usually err on the side of the performer when it comes to the addiction side of things. I'm strictly trying to just look at this more of like hopefully he gets all that personal help he needs. We want you to be safe, your kids. You nailed that, Warren. But yeah, from a business sense, like, again, I'm just gonna say it. So the sponsors are cool with all the things you just said, Warren. That's all good. That's gravy. Keep the guy around. He's fine. There's, you gotta at some point, like, dude, like, are we just,
should we outright, like, he has all the makings of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's had numerous behavioral issues where I can look at what he does, and for me personally, he puts the values, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't want him to, I don't want him to OD on whatever. He's a father. I want his kids to have a father, all that stuff. And of course. But he's a piece of shit. Yeah. So do you hang on to that? Do you do whatever it takes to hang on to him? Or do you try something else,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough. I think you make really good points of like, hey, like, yeah, is the guy talented? Yeah. Do we think he can, whatever? But like, at some point, is the juice worth the squeeze? You know what I mean?
Bingo. And like in wrestling, you guys know this. You've watched it for a while. There is such a thing as preferential treatment.
Oh, for sure.
You're the draw. You're the big star. You're CM Punk.
Yeah.
Well, Ace Steel is going to get fired, but not CM Punk. You know what I mean? Because
Scott Hall back in the day. You're Scott Hall. You're over with the NWO. You've got the name, the Razor Ramon.
You're an integral part of one of the biggest angles in wrestling, like Hulk Hogan, so on and so forth. Right now, they probably see a future in Matt Riddle. They probably have plans for him. But as it stands right now, like, you look at this objectively, and it's like, you have to applaud WWE for doing some corporate responsibility here and saying, okay, well, yes, we're going to send you, we're going to send you to a medical facility, rehab, whatever. We're going to take care of you. We're going to help you knock this. And you have to appreciate that, because kicking him to the curb isn't necessarily the best idea either. So so on their end, they are sort of weighing the pros and cons, unquestionably. I think from a PR standpoint, purely public relations, dumping a guy, kicking him to the curb while he has addiction problems, I think that is a very poor look.
Yeah, it's not a great look.
Someone that I consider to be a piece of shit, right? But
and that's just it. You can't really, because it becomes this, like, it's a mental health thing. It's a physical, they could get sued.
And it's just not a good look. Even if they do or don't get sued, it's just not a good look.
Not a great look.
I mean, Matt Riddle he's riddled with issues, and they're not going to go away anytime soon.
No,
that's
yeah. And so, I kind of get where Pluggo was going, how they let somebody like Matt Riddle kind of have, 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike, 4 strike. And then, we talked about deadline to start and the Iron Survivor Challenge. Well, on Tuesday night, this past NXT, Roxanne Perez, who was victorious in the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge, decided that she was going to cash in her title shot, and she wanted to challenge Mandy Rose. There was a little vignette that happened at the beginning, and we have Lawrence here commenting on Warren's shirt, saying Warren Hayes with his formal D's Nuts shirt tonight.
Classy.
Yeah. Whatever.
Spencer paid for it.
It's true. So Roxanne challenges Mandy Rose for the title, and we see at the end of NXT on Tuesday that Roxanne Perez defeats Mandy Rose and ends the 400-plus day reign of Mandy Rose as the NXT Women's Champion. And I was talking before the show, in my brain, I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Good job.
So Toxic Attraction will be on the main roster. Makes perfect sense. Roxanne.
I thought they were just trying to pop a rating and keep.
That's what I thought. I was like, Roxanne will definitely beat her at some point, and they'll go up. Mandy's already been on the main roster before. It just makes sense. Well,
you wake up Wednesday.
Up on Wednesday morning, and halfway through the day, we get a Fightful Select report that says that Mandy Rose has been released by the WWE, which took probably all of us, if not most of us, by shock. And the report was that the exact verbiage was WWE officials felt they were put in a tough position based on the content she was posting on her Brand Army page. They felt like it was outside of the parameters of her WWE deal. And if you read more into the Fightful Select report, if you listen to, Sean Ross Sapp, among other people that were more well-informed about this, they haven't come out and said who it was, but it seems like a sponsor of sorts or someone or a business, something that would involve the business side of it, reached out to WWE and was basically like, no, that has to stop. Or, and I'm assuming there were, again, this is assuming, and what can happen when you assume, that there were conversations prior, or at least I would hope that there were conversations with Mandy Rose prior to her being released on Wednesday. Like, hey, you're some of the content you're releasing is kind of, and if she was like, well, guess what? I make a whole boatload of money over here, way more than I do over here. So I'm not fucking stopping.
More than some executives on the WWE do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Ophelia, saying, and we're going to dive in because I do feel like this is part of it.
So let's go, Ophelia.
That's what we're saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
This is where it becomes a bigger thing than just the performer getting released.
6 strikes.
Because it's sex, nudity is bad, but drug use, womanizing, etc. is okay. And I think that's where I will always support somebody that wants to make money by safely using the gifts that they have from whatever. You want to do that stuff, I'll do it up. If I look like somebody that could do, I would do it too. Make some money. Do your thing.
Man, like even as a right, just as dudes.
Yeah.
If we had the 12 packs and
God, yeah.
I'd never wear a shirt. I never send my clothing bills to Spencer anymore.
No, you wouldn't need to.
I just, maybe my boxer shorts would be, I'd have more than 12 pairs, maybe I'd have, but no, I mean, we're being stupid here, but essentially that's the point. It's like, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you?
If you got it, flaunt it, and if you can consensually, legally make money off of it, that's your choice.
Thing. Do your thing. And she was making.
And not only nobody's talking about it. This was leaked stuff, so this was not meant for public consumption, and it got leaked. Nobody ever talks about those people. They just go, well, they had to have known it was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we got Bebe saying like, hey, I'm looking at the pics and yeah, sure. It ain't family friendly, but multiple DUIs and things like that. And that's cool though. That's cool.
But not even that, like on top of and especially with Mandy Rose and this iteration of Mandy Rose, that was the gimmick.
The gimmick was she was hot. The whole toxic attraction gimmick is, hey, we're really hot and we're good at wrestling.
There's no layers to toxic attraction. It's we're hot.
her gimmick is sex. It's always been sex.
Literally the gimmick.
Do you remember that short period when they had her tag teaming with Dana Brooke, right? And they were doing like an athletic, the blonde bombshells. I don't remember what they were called, right?
Yeah.
But they were dressed more athletically and so on and so forth, and it wasn't working. What did they do? All right, Mandy, we're going back to sex. You're sex again. You tried the athletic thing. That's not working. You're sex again. And then they're gonna say, look, there's too much sex, But it's not. Here's the thing. Here's ultimately the thing, because what Ophelia is saying is right. What the other gentleman previously, Bebe, said is also right. But the thing here, this is the most crucial part. This is all about control. This is the main issue here. This is WWE seeing Mandy Rose being the sex pot that she is,
that they want her to be on their television show,
that they built her to be. Going off on the side and doing something else, and honestly, I don't even think how much of an issue is the raunchiness at this point, if not the money that she's making. Someone made some quick math, said she's making $400,000, almost $500,000 What do you think she's making right now in NXT? I don't know exactly, but I can tell you one thing.
It ain't $400 million. It ain't $400,000.
I know for a fact that everyone on an NXT contract is making less than $100,000 a year. Okay, depending on who you are. Now, Mandy was a main roster person, so maybe she's still hanging on to whatever she was making, but she's making more money by doing what she's doing as opposed to going to the ring and bumping and training and doing all this shit and listening to shit creative. And otherwise she's taking pics with her boyfriend, her husband in their shower. That's what she's doing, and she's making gobs of cash off of it. All the more power to her. So it's all control. This is ultimately what it all boils down to, is what you can't do this without us saying it's okay. Well, she says, I'm going to go back and do it. I'm going to do it anyway. And they're going to be, well, okay, then if we can't come to an understanding, then we're going to have to let you go. I'm just going to let me go. I'm fine. I've got most of Twitter that comes and shits at me every time I'm in the ring saying that I stink. It's like, I don't need this. I don't need you. And that's the thing, is that she ends up being in a position where WWE doesn't need WWE as much as they like to think she needs them. She can go out, she's going to do her thing. I continue being a fitness model. Like, this is what she's really, really good at. You can't take that away from her. She's got, as far as photography, modeling, she is on par. She's fantastic. She does the raunchy, spicy shit. Good for her. Mm-hmm. And if she's getting dudes to pay for it, good for her. Yeah. And if anyone has a problem with that, they're just mad that a woman can make more money than they can. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I believe before the news went down, I saw somewhere that like a subscription to whatever website this was or whatever, I think she was charging like $13 or $15. And then the day she got released, it went up to $40.
Good for her.
It went up to $40. Good for her. Because you know how many more people probably subscribed on Wednesday? Her subscription number on Wednesday was probably
record.
And she's
going
probably
way this way as opposed to it was on Tuesday.
And she's going, these assholes who leaked my pictures, well, I'm gonna milk them for what they're worth. If they're gonna come in here and leak my pictures, they're gonna pay 4 times the price.
You're damn right.
Good for her.
Right. Yeah. And we have
you get a better clientele with
you got to feel a little earlier saying, but like also, hey, Athena, please be more sexy like Mandy Rose. But obviously, hey, there's limits. Don't make money off it. Don't make money for yourself off it. You need to be sexy for us.
I didn't dive too deep into any of like trying to find anything, just the stuff that had popped up throughout the crux that are social media. I didn't find it that I was like, oh, okay. Like your butt hurt about that. That's a weird thing to be mad about. Like I've seen you guys put worse on your television set.
Like literally, it's because she's making money and they're not getting a cut. And that's what it had. That's why they put those, and they relaxed. They went a little bit lax on them, but it's the whole reason. And Ophelia just literally said it, because WWE isn't getting a cut.
They want that money.
It's control. About control.
Yeah, it always has been. That's why, and I get it. Like Vince isn't here anymore, but at the end of the day, there's still a build. It's a reason why they put those third-party contracts like a couple years ago. They were like, no, you're not doing any of it, because no, you're making money and not giving me any. That's all it is.
And guess what? This is, and I know people in the, like, I still don't understand those people that shit on other companies that aren't WWE, like, because they suck. But the landscape has changed. Like, people have shown you don't need the WWE model now to be successful and make money. Like, look at Matt Cardona has blown up since he left, just to Twitch streams that, Adam Cole's doing, he's killing it. Like, you don't need the WWE anymore. You could still wrestle if you want to, and you could do it on your own time and make $400,000 a year and live a very comfortable life. Just putting out a couple provocative picks. Again, I would do that if I could. I don't have the body yet. I'm working on it.
Do it too.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would, if that was an option for.
I think it's time to get the Between Two Beards calendar back up.
That's what we need to do. Yeah, I mean, the new year is coming. The new year is coming. We could do it between Two Beards actual the calendar.
Let's get it filled up.
Yeah, we can do it. Second edition.
Mrs. Pluggo, I'm going to need you to take some pictures that I don't know if you're comfortable with, but I'll get you a 7th Christmas tree. This calendar's going to sell.
Yeah. We got baby saying I wouldn't blame Mandy if she said screw it, but obviously Tony Storm is doing it, and TK obviously doesn't have a problem with it, as he shouldn't.
I don't know what was said. It could have been that simple. It could have been like, hey, listen, we just discovered this. We'd prefer it if you didn't. And she was like, nah, I'm going to keep doing me, you guys.
Look, we saw the same thing happen with Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega was making again, not for the same type of content, but Zelina Vega was making really good money with Twitch and all that stuff when they put those rules into effect. No more third parties, whatever. And she was like, screw you. I make more money doing that. And she got fired. They let her go too. So, I mean, this doesn't mean that Mandy Rose is gone forever. We could see her back. I don't know. Who knows? But like,
officially, that's my prediction. I think she'll be back.
Yeah.
Would you, if you're her, do you want to come back after this?
Come back on my,
on like Moore's going to say, yeah, on her own terms. Like, hey,
maybe
I'll come back, but here's the deal: salary. I'm still doing this shit. I'll toe the line, and I won't be maybe as provided, but I'm doing this. So,
because here's the thing, right? It's like, WWE. See, because I saw articles, today, Sportskeeda, and sometimes I just want to gouge my eyes out. I was like, top five wrestlers. Mandy Rose could fight in AEW, and I'm like, stop! Don't do this! Don't do this! Stop! Relax! Don't do this kind of shit. Mandy, it's like I often like to say, we got to be honest with each other in regards to Mandy. The narrative for the past 5 years is Mandy is improving. That's been her narrative.
Yep.
But it's been for 5 years, and I would just like us all to be honest with each other and say Mandy Rose is a perfectly capable professional wrestler. Mm-hmm. But she's hit her ceiling. Yeah. There will be she has not been she did not improve over her reign as NXT champion. She's fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here and saying she's the pits. She's fine. Perfectly competent professional wrestler. Mm-hmm. She can't go to AEW.
No.
Because the AEW crowd values work rate. They value work rate. So she's going to get exposed something fierce, and there's no room for her, really. There's no space for her where you instantly go, oh well, the roster absolutely needs a Mandy Rose. She's going to be taking up a mid-card spot that other women have been trying to get into for a while, like Penny Ford and the Bunny and to a degree Layla Hirsch, she's eventually going to come back too. It's like there's no room for her. And frankly, if I'm her, I take a break from all of this. I continue feeding my Instagram. I continue feeding my paywall content. And eventually WWE is going to call me back, because WWE calls all of their old people back. Look at what Triple H did. Called all of the old mid-carders back, to brought them all back. So she has absolutely everything in her corner to say, I'm going to come back in a few years.
And this is going to make her, like JPJ said, a bigger deal. Like people are going to go, I got to see this. I want in. And I've just never understood this narrative of like, these people do these Twitch streams and they make their content outside. Yes, the WWE gave you the building blocks and the foundation, and then you take it and you do something to get other fans in. Like, why is that? I know it's about the cut, but just take the money out. Why is that such a bad deal to, like, Adam Cole now has 10 million Twitch followers, and guess what? Not all of those Twitch followers like wrestling. They like the games he plays, but if they go, oh, he's on TV, that's my dude from Twitch, I'm going to come watch.
Goes both ways. I'm convinced it goes both ways. That because Adam Cole is a super affable guy. Like, he is a perfect streamer. He's a super good.
He's great. I follow him. I watch his stuff. Like, he's great. He's great at it.
He's a good gamer on top of that. So people like to see him do his thing. And he has this whole narrative with the Halo series and all. It's like it's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like
she pretty much can do whatever she wants now. Like, she's got the world's her oyster. If she wants to wrestle, she can.
And again, we don't know if there were any discussions, if there were any pre-warnings. It was like, look, Mandy, you have to dump this. Look, Mandy, you have to dump this. Look, Mandy, you have to dump this. Well, you're not going to dump it. We're going to dump you. We don't know. We don't know. And that's okay. And it's okay that we don't know. It's fine. It ultimately doesn't change. It doesn't change the narrative. It doesn't change the narrative, because if WWE is asking her to get rid of a $400,000 operation and she says no every time, it's fine. Like, it doesn't change the narrative. But the outcome is the same, and she still made the right choice. Yeah,
100%. 100%.
And it's not an apples to apples comparison, because I don't like Jade Cargill, for instance, went on Talk is Jericho and talked about her beginnings in wrestling and how the WWE was interested in her, but she had, like, she said that they would have to offer her enough money to make up all of the sponsorships and partnerships she had already had, which she was talking millions of dollars, and they weren't going to give that to her on a developmental deal. And she flat out said, look, I'm not going to sign here because I don't want to ruin those partnerships, because if this flops, then I have to crawl back to these sponsors that I just cut ties with. And similar to, like, these content creators, Mandy's and the Adam Cole's, just content creation as a whole. I don't care if you're showing your whatever on OnlyFans or you're gaming on Twitch. Like, you build that following, you build that, and then you're telling them, like, sorry, I'm shutting it down. And then you're going to try to beg these 10,000 people to come back to you after your WWE unceremoniously probably released you during the Vince era. It's a very tough, like, okay, and that's why I think for Mandy or a Jade or whoever, they're like, you know what, I can sign wherever I want on a lesser deal maybe and do less dates and still keep my $400,000 that I can guarantee yearly. And there's no guarantee in wrestling. Like you said, why would I want to take a bump and potentially my career could be over just like that?
Mm-hmm.
So. And the truly, well, not the truly sad thing, but it is one of the multiple sad things for WWE in this situation, is that they spent the better part of a year convincing us that Mandy Rose is a dominant champion, right?
Yeah.
That she's gone through the competition and so on and so forth. And now we'll probably never mention it again.
Never. So she's gone. That's it.
She's gone, and she's gone in disgrace to a degree. They're not going to mention, if they had her leave because they were offended by a butthole picture, they're not going to talk about her on air anymore. They're not going to use her name. She's going to become persona non grata.
Is that what it was?
Of doing, right? Well, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, if that's what it was, like, really, WWE, like, I've seen worse on your TV screen.
With in the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord, which is another place you should check out. I have people who do partake in Mandy Rose's extracurricular activities. None of them have told me that she does outright porn. Like, I know there's been discussion going around. She doesn't do porn, but the pictures I've been told are quite spicy, quite spicy. So I'm just spitballing when I'm talking about buttholes. It's just like,
I'm just saying, like,
it's spice and buttholes.
and to top it off, all of this again. This is a WWE Optics week, right? And I've already seen it because I posted about it the second she won. Roxanne Perez. There's already people discrediting her run because Mandy got fired, and that's the only reason she won. So not only did you take your longest reigning NXT champion and throw her away,
Roxanne was beating her one way or another.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying, and I know she was, but you know how the internet works. You know how people.
I'm a casual and WWE viewer, and even I saw the writing on the wall that
they're going to build that division around Roxanne.
Yes, but you know how it is. They're like, well, the reason she got it on two. Yeah, she got it for those circumstances. She was getting it anyway, but now you've got another subset of people going, oh, it lessens her win because they were firing her anyway.
Yeah.
And
speaking of buttholes, Vince McMahon. Let's talk Vince McMahon.
Okay.
Let's talk Vince McMahon. There was a report earlier this week, I believe it was the Wall Street Journal that put it out there.
How dare it not be Fightful or
Fightful
Dave
basically
Meltzer.
poo-pooed. They didn't poo-poo the report, but they poo-pooed the reactions of people inside WWE that were like, no, we're good. We're good.
No, I just the report had a whole group of people going, how did a wrestling media not break this story? The Wall Street Journal
because Vince fed it to them. That's why.
Excuse me. I mean, I apologize, Spencer. I know, like I know my language itself has been very spicy, but this is why we lose the plot on so many things in wrestling, because now I saw lengthy arguments over. Well, why didn't wrestling media break this? Who cares?
Right.
Vince McMahon got, I don't want to scoop you here, JPG, but he's in trouble again. Yeah. And a mainstream outlet put it out. Why aren't we celebrating this? Who cares that Sean didn't break it, or that Dave didn't break it, or Mike Johnson didn't break it, or John Pollock? Who cares? And I'm pretty sure you ask any of those four guys that I just mentioned, do you guys care? And they'll probably be like, you know what? Kind of dope that a major mainstream outlet picked up this wrestling story, which is of critical importance outside of our little fucking bubble.
Yeah. 100%.
This is why we bring you on, Warren.
It's true. It's true. You probably know more about it than me because I didn't read the article. I only saw the little clip of like how he said he has all intentions of coming back.
Let me pull up my notes.
Yes. So if there was like actual substance and other bad shit in there, I honestly, this tells you how good I am at what I do. I have no idea. I just saw the thing. I just saw the thing that said he was like, "Oh, I'm coming back." And I had people giving me bad advice that I should step away.
I saw that.
Oh, did you?
I'm coming back. I said, the fuck you are.
Yeah. That's pretty much all.
I was like,
come on.
Are you crazy?
But there's really two levels to this. One, which, wrestling fans and their wrestling brain latch onto, and one which is absolutely much more significant. The fact that there is a new sexual assault allegation. And can we say that on Twitch? Because I know on YouTube it's a bit of an iffy one. Let's call it an essay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll read the thing because I did have a copy of the article. Vince McMahon, the majority owner and former chief executive of World Wrestling Entertainment, Inc., is facing legal demands from two women who allege that he sexually assaulted them according to internal documents and people familiar with the legal negotiations. In a November 3rd demand, so just about a month ago, a little over a month, in a November 3rd demand letter to Mr. McMahon's representative, a lawyer for former wrestling referee Rita Chatterton, asked for $11.75 million in damages after she publicly accused Mr. McMahon 3 decades ago of her in a limousine. Mr. McMahon has long denied the allegations. The demand letter was reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. So that's the first crucial part of information here. Not new news to wrestling fans, because the Rita Chatterton story that's been around for 3 decades. We all know.
Was that like late 80s, early 90s types? Like that was a long time ago.
It was in a limousine in the 80s, and she came out, remember, on Geraldo in the 90s when he had his talk show back in the day. And she made the accusations publicly there. The WWE denied it. If I'm not mistaken, they filed a civil suit saying that this had created irreparable damage, blah, blah, blah. But they dropped it, right?
WWE dropped it.
WWE dropped it because they sued her over this. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that she is lawyering up. This is the first time
current time.
Exactly. And she can do it because in the state of California and in New York, they have they've waived the not the grace period, but the
statute of
limitations.
Look at me.
Look at us guys.
I know stuff.
So they waived that. So now 3 decades later, she can go back into this. So good for this coming back to haunt Vince McMahon. It's what he deserves. Now, the second thing, and this is new news here. In a separate November email to Mr. McMahon's attorney, a lawyer for a former spa manager said that Mr. McMahon assaulted his client in 2011 at a California resort, an incident previously unreported in the media. So this is new.
Yeah,
this is brand spanking new. When I was reading this, I was like, wait a second. We know about this. This is the Tanzabar thing, right? The tanning salon where he had, but no, because then I was like, no, the Tanzabar thing that's in Florida. This is in California, and it was the week of a show. Like WWE was putting on a show there, and the story even goes on to say the spa manager reported it to the resort. We don't know what happened there, but she also told her husband, and her husband grabbed a baseball bat and drove down to the arena where WWE was holding the show, and he was like, I want to talk to Vince McMahon. Baseball bat in his hand. Awesome. He was ready to swing. Yeah. So this was unreported. So this, including the NDAs, right?
Yeah.
7 women. This makes 9. This makes 9 SA allegations that are out there, and we know 7 of them are probably real because there's NDAs around them.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that these 2 are real.
And maybe, and I don't know. Maybe those 2 that just came out had NDAs on them. Maybe, like, who knows? You know,
probably not, because she was not. She hasn't worked with WWE since the 80s, and Vince probably wasn't smart enough at the time to do that kind of stuff, and he wasn't a traded company, and so on and so forth. Kayfabe, blah blah blah. This woman here, she was an employee of because the NDAs are. They're all former WWE employees. The NDAs are.
Yeah.
They all used to be office staff. I
thought maybe the civil suit that got dropped, maybe there was something tied to that, but okay.
Probably not. So I mean, that is crucial news. And I still, at this point, like, defending Vince McMahon is indefensible at this point, because where there's smoke, there's fire. If you could, if you wanted to be a bad faith actor, and and all these accusations came out within a 3-week period, you'd be like, oh, conspiracy, and you'd put. But this shit has been going on for 30 years. It's been going on for 30 years, and he has patterns. We see the patterns in the tanning salon, the spa resort. How many others do we not know about? Because this is the thing. We know about 9 different women who had to suffer through this. Right. We know how many others are, because there is, again, smoke, there's fire. There's other instances of this.
Oh, 100%.
There's statistics, like 1 out of 5 don't say anything, maybe 2.
But at this point, it's like, you can't renege this. You can't be like, oh, Vince. No.
Yeah.
They have no proof. There's 9 women in different areas, like in different decades, and not even in the employ of WWE. Like, we're all over the place at this point.
Yeah.
You got to cut this shit out. This is ridiculous. Vince is a creep.
Yep, and he's a criminal, and it's one of those things where all in the midst of this, clearly we're having new allegations, and like Warren said, I think you can't say it's 100% definite without evidence and things like that. But like Ophelia says, 40 years, only 9.
Look at exactly. It's like Al Capone.
Yeah,
they nailed Al Capone because of income tax.
Yeah,
we know what we know. Fuck, man. It's like look. Yeah. This gets me incensed.
Yeah, it's OJ goes to jail for stealing memorabilia. No, OJ goes to jail because they know they fucked up a murder trial. That's why he went to jail.
Exactly.
Okay, you know what I mean. And in the midst of all that, the more serious stuff, the more serious allegations that we're dealing with, the report was that Vince and his
crazy
brain,
enough to think,
which is an old
back.
Crazy man creep-o brain, he says, "Oh, I have all in. I'm coming back." 100%, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I fully intend on making a comeback. I should have never left. I had bad people telling me bad advice to step down when I shouldn't have. It would have just blown over. It would have just blown over.
Let's have a little fun with this. Who are the people who gave him bad advice? Who are the people?
Probably I would guess the board of trustees.
His kids.
Triple H, Stephanie, Shane, Linda, maybe.
Nick.
Yeah, Nick Khan, probably.
I mean,
yes.
in a kayfabe where like he loves the Undertaker. Was it Taker? Like, bro,
like
Taker probably was like, no, Vince, you hide a shiv and just you hold it like this. You put it in, and no one sees it coming in because you're holding it like this.
Listen, Vince, you don't want to be there anyway because all these kids do are play video games in the locker room.
Yeah, like, sponsors and other people with money, probably. And Fightful Select came out right away within hours and was like, yeah, we talked to a lot of people in WWE. Nobody wants Vince to come back.
Yeah. Why would you?
Exactly. The only person that thinks that people want Vince back is Vince.
And maybe Bruce Pritchard.
Maybe. But
is Bruce Pritchard, like, what is his job? He just supposed to, like, Trips is like, you just go sit in the corner till your contract's up. Play with these blocks. You're fine. Like, we don't need you right now.
Give me your cell phone, Bruce. You don't. No, you're not.
Who are you talking to, Bruce? Bruce, who are you talking to? Who are you texting? Your wife? Who are you talking to? Yeah. It's one of those things where the interest in the product is much higher now since Vince has left. The product itself, and I know, like Warren, I know it's not a perfect product.
We're going to get into that.
It is an exponentially more entertaining product since Vince has left.
Okay.
To an extent. I know, Warren. I know. To an extent, though. To an extent.
Exponentially.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not seeing, there's certain things about it.
Try not to laugh about it. We're trying to be
I know, but maybe exponentially was the wrong word, but at least, like, it seems like the person running the show gives a shit. Maybe?
Seems like, yes.
Kristen Ashley's in the house.
Oh, we got Kristen Ashley popping in, saying hello. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Thank you for the
first lady of the Mr. Warren show.
You sing it really well on Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
you can. You do whatever you want.
Kristen Ashley, the first lady of the Mr. Warren Hayes show.
Perfect.
Yeah. Now, Mrs. Pluggo, I hope you're not watching because I don't know if I could do that.
You don't think you could come up with a jingle for Mrs.
Pluggo?
Pluggo?
The first lady.
Well, hold on. We didn't agree together that there would be a first lady
the
of
Christmas
the
tree.
We gotta talk about that.
Wait a minute. What? She was the first lady. Okay.
Listen, we'll talk about it.
Co-first ladies?
Yeah.
Co-first people?
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah. But fucking dude. Vince
Christmas
trees.
Let's see about this Vince coming back, okay? What would be the distinct advantage of Vince McMahon coming back? For real, though. Like, is there anything that points to Vince being a good idea? Now, we were talking about the quality of the product. That's entirely subjective. And
yes, Christmas Queen. There you go.
I would say there isn't a positive. There isn't.
Budget cuts, I guess. He's really good with the numbers.
Because I would think at this point,
kidding.
with the stuff that we just discussed, the more serious part of the Vince story, like the investors, the people that have money, they're not.
You know, the worst part though is like when he left at the first run of this, he's still like treated like a god within certain WWE Universe circles. Like they were cheering for him. Like you see it on the internet. Like there's still just this group of people that are just like bow down to Vince, and it's like
and sing along to the.
Is there? But that's what worries me. Like, is there enough of us in the wrestling community that would shut that shit down? Like. And I'm gonna steal her thunder. Like I watched the Queen of the Ring, do a TikTok live yesterday, and she was talking about how we all banded together and got that fabulous moolah wiped off that trophy via Snickers. Could we do that with Vince and be like, if you do it, like we're all pulling the plug with the sponsors? Like if Mattel is mad, use Mattel, the action figures is mad at Mandy, they can't possibly be behind this idea. Right?
Look, but you're absolutely right. This is one of the reasons why it is it's good that this story was broken in mainstream media, in the Wall Street Journal, which is a specialized for investors, right? For people who play the stock market and who follow this stuff, economics, so on and so forth. Don't kid yourselves, right? Like Vince was pushed out of his position because he was probably getting pressure from the business partners, from Progressive Auto Insurance, from the Mars Bar Company, right? From fucking Beyblades. Like
you mean the Austin Theory?
Austin Theory? Austin Theory sponsor? Is that what you're talking about there?
No, but like for sure, and not just the sponsors, the business partners, Fox, what is it? It's
NBC Universal, yeah, right.
I mean, for sure, they're calling Nick Khan. They're saying, you know what, Vince, it's kind of turning into a stain on everything. And all of this is happening when WWE is going to enter a year of renegotiations for their deal next year, 2023. They're going to start renegotiating. So of course, everyone is going to put some pressure here. And if Vince comes back, that takes leverage away from WWE, from the company, to be like, yeah, let's ask for a lot more money, because then Fox is going to be like, no, you've got Vince and he's a liability. So we're going to give you a raise. Like, don't kid yourselves. WWE is getting a massive raise this year. But
you think they'll be on Fox still?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, absolutely. I don't, there's nothing that indicates that on a Friday night on that time slot, that anything Fox would put on would generate 2 million, over 2 million, 2.2 million total viewership on a Friday night. It's like, absolutely. I'm sure they're happy with those numbers. I'm convinced they're happy with those numbers. So that's part of that's one thing there, and that's economics. That's basic stuff. That's why Vince got pushed out, because he was probably getting calls from Steph, calls from Nick Khan, going, Vince, we're getting calls we're getting emails, we're getting texts. You got to hit the bricks, man.
Enjoy your retirement.
And when a place like Wall Street Journal comes out with this stuff, the phone calls and the texts and the people reaching out, it's not, and this is not it's not Wrestling Inc. that's calling WWE and saying, hey, we need to know about this. It's not Fightful. I'm sure they are, obviously, but this is CNN. This is NBC. This is ABC. This is ESPN. This is...
And they're calling the PR department, and the PR department pissed about this.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you said, it's not Sean Ross Sapp. It's not Mike Johnson. Colin is like, I'll just blow him off.
I need a quote. Give me a quote, Like, no, this is high-ranking news outlets that are saying, hey, we're going to do some investigative journalism on this shit. You need to talk to us about this.
And on top of it, like, the WWE needs Fox more than Fox needs the WWE, right? They could, like you said, they could just throw they could just throw whatever on Friday night and probably be okay. I mean, they're not. Maybe, right? It's a hand in hand, but if you think about it, like I'm paying you $250 million or $1 billion or whatever it may be for liabilities. Like I could put on college basketball. I could put on, college football. I could have the NFL do a Friday night game if I really wanted.
So, WWE is going to go to whoever is going to give them the most money. Right. So simple as that. Whether it's Fox or ABC or whatever, it doesn't matter. They're going to go whoever gives them the most money. Right now in the TV market, live sports is the hottest ad rate commodity, right? So because it is still the only thing that people will sit down and tune in to watch, as opposed to DVR it, watch it later, watch it on streaming, wait till, it's like whatever, you got a football game on, you've got a basketball game down, people sit down and watch it because no one really watches a football game 3 days after, right? You don't
That's why I got out of the sports media game, because it's like once it's past it, if I missed it, it's really hard to
go back and
watch. Yeah, no.
So and so as far as ad rates go, pure ad rates, like revenue that comes into the network and is shared with whoever is creating it's at its highest it's ever been, and it is a hot commodity. That's why TNT, brought in the NHL, right? That's why they have basketball, because this is where the money is. That's why Amazon wants to get into it with the NFL. You know,
their Thursday night product is shit. Sorry, Amazon, it's real bad. You guys suck.
The point is that they want to dip their toes in it so that eventually they can go full body, right?
Yep.
So Fox wants this type of programming. They want live sports that they
Welcome
can.
Welcome to the chat, Banana King 274. What's up?
And his googly eyes. Yeah. So whatever, they want the live sports stuff from a company that guarantees them, and don't forget this, guys, that guarantees them original live content for 52 weeks in the year.
Yeah, there's no seasons. There's no seasons.
No seasons. Mm-hmm. And we're not Screen Actors Guild. There's no weird fees to pay. We're doing our thing, right? So does Fox need WWE? Probably not. But on a Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. doing 2.2 million and really good demos, 4.7s and stuff. Not 4.7, but 0.4s, 0.5, so on and so forth. They're doing really good demos. On top of that, I think they want to hang on to it. Because I don't think, no disrespect, because it's a show I love. I don't think, putting Bob's Burgers on a Friday night is going to generate that much attention
and to think they're doing 2.2 million with people that Triple H is sick of already.
Well,
segued it.
What a transition that was, Pluggo. Because there is
after 81 episodes of this.
That was pretty good. You're learning something, man. You're learning something. Let me tell you. There are reports that Triple H, he's brought back a lot of people since he's come back.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And there are reports that he might not be thrilled with how all of those have turned out. Now, names,
Yes, when I read that, I'm
think. To be fair, you're not going to be
not everyone's going to be a home run.
You're not going to hit a home run.
Not everyone bats 1,000,
But in this scenario, Trips, you got to put these people in places to succeed in order to get the most out of them. And my number one off the top of my head is Johnny Gargano.
Is that one of the ones? Were their names mentioned in this report?
No, let's have fun. Let's speculate. Let's have fun.
We're gonna speculate.
This is mine. This is my number one without going down a list. Like, you debuted him really well. We talked about it on this show. The 10 o'clock spot, you gave him like the spotlight. He's back. Johnny Wrestling didn't go to AEW, and then you put him in this absolute dog shit of a
he's a manager,
and you make him basically a manager trying to get money for Dexter Lumis. Is that the best use creatively for one of the best wrestlers on the planet?
No, because you have to have him.
But you're going to get mad that he's not succeeding?
No, you have to have him lose to Omos on top of that. You have to have him lose to Baron Corbin on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have him lose to The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Pluggo, I am with you. I am so with you. I made a case on the members only stream last week, which I do when I stream on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. Subscribe today. I made the case that Johnny Gargano is patient zero when it comes to the Triple H era, not even close to being as good as everyone thinks / hoped it would be. Because I remember, and you guys were watching Black and Yellow back in the day.
Oh my God, yeah, of course.
Show.
Of course we were. It was the best fucking wrestling show on earth, right?
Yep.
Of course we all watched it.
And Johnny Wrestling not managing. Yes, Ophelia. Damn straight.
There you go. And what were we all saying back then? We were saying, hopefully Johnny Gargano never gets up to main roster because Vince won't know what to do with him. But if Triple H is there, oh my goodness, he's gonna Ciampa and Gargano, and they're gonna be pushed to the moon because Triple H knows wrestling. Triple H knows how to he knows how to deliver. Well, he has his boys in his hands. He has the guy. He has his top baby face. Triple H's top baby face is right there in his hands. He can do whatever the hell he wants with them. And he's having him job to Omos.
Yep.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
It is proof. That's the concrete proof that everything people created in their mind canon that Triple H was going to change the main roster and that it's become so exponentially good. It hasn't moved a thing, that nothing has changed. It's exactly the same thing. It's Paul Levesque or Vince McMahon. I honestly can barely tell the difference.
It's fair. It's fair.
I'm not a major creep. I think that's the distinction.
No, well,
Triple H seems like he might be an all right individual. We'll see.
What about you, JPJ? Who's your, like, if it was you, like?
Well, the one that springs to mind the most to me, I mean, Gargano's a good one. Karrion Kross. I felt like they brought Karrion Kross back and immediately was involved with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre his first night. Like immediate. Like night one, comes back, beats the shit out of Drew McIntyre, has a stare down with the undisputed champion and Roman Reigns. And then what? Exactly.
You know what's funny about this conversation, boys? This is like the AEW haters. This is what they bitched about. Oh, the debut, the big pop, the return, and then nothing. Tony Khan doesn't know how to manage his roster. Well, that's exactly what is happening on WWE television.
Right? The midfinity gauntlet, as I like to call it, right? That the meme there. It's just full of people that people were really excited about, and everything just petered out. Everything just like, and we're talking Karrion Kross, but there's things that, a lot of people are like, oh, well, we told you so, Paul, hit row without swerve.
Nothing. Yeah.
Told you so.
Sorry.
Did you think Top Dollar, future host of the Tonight Show, Top Dollar, did you think that he was going to be able to carry this? Oh, sweetheart, baby Paul.
Yeah. No, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen.
There was something magical about Hit Row with Swerve and all the pieces. Like, it was the hottest thing on NXT when they did this, like they were making the changes. It needs Swerve. It's like that.
Yeah, it needs somebody. Yeah, it needs
he was your top guy.
You need the crown jewel of the group. That's right. There's no crown jewel right now. You have all the background players, but you don't have You don't have the crown jewel, and which was Swerve.
But let's get mad at them.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's clearly
It's clearly a them issue, not us.
Go ahead.
I'll even go as far as to say even things that we got excited about, and with extremely talented wrestlers like Dakota Kai, like Io Shirai, right? He fumbled completely.
Like every time I turn on TV, they don't win.
And this was a layup, an alley-oop, if you prefer. Like there was nothing of all the hires, the rehires that Triple H did, whether it's Braun Strowman or Bray Wyatt, or there was no easier alley-oop than those three women together: Bayley, Io Shirai, and Dakota Kai, and a layup. But no, the minute they lost that tournament and re-won the titles like 2 weeks later, I was like, they're done. They're toast.
Yep. That was a huge mistake.
As being a huge deal, they had the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, the People's Champion, right? Everyone loves Bianca. She's at SummerSlam. She just finished her match. She sees those three arrive and, panic overcomes her. You can see it in her face. She's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, it's about to go down. Yeah.
You're like, let's go, Triple H era. Let's do this. But no, same shit as usual. Just a bunch of jabrones. No one gets over. We're 50-50 we're not even 50-50ing the damage control ladies.
No, they lose.
No, it's like
80-20.
It's like 80-20 at best.
Brutal.
It's mess. And now they're eating manhandle slams by Becky Lynch right and left. Like who cares? They're geeks now. They managed to geek out Io Shirai, arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of the past 10 years, managed to make her look like a fucking geek.
Yep. And it's very bizarre. I would even make an argument that and you had mentioned Bray Wyatt. I would even make an argument that you want to talk about like an all-time debut. Bray Wyatt's return, or not debut, but a return. Bray Wyatt's return in the way that was done in Extreme Rules was amazing. All-time moment, the door, the intro video, the defunct, kind of worn down. It was all perfect. And then
it sustains for a couple of weeks, right? Because people want to see him back, and he cuts these. Of course.
And there's small things that I've liked along the way, but it's like, where are we? But like, did you bring this guy back to feud with fucking LA Knight? And that's not a bad thing about LA Knight. Fine. Like that's Eli Drake
for LA Knight.
It's like, is that why we brought this guy back here to do this? Like, why? Like, he's been feuding with LA Knight for 3 weeks now. A month. Like, why are we doing this? Like, I don't.
Because they canceled day one.
It's just like, man, I don't know. I'm someone who clearly by earlier, like I do have high hope. I still do. And I think I at least, and maybe it's my brain just telling me so, but I do enjoy watching the product more now than I was 6, 7, 8 months ago.
And that's
but I do feel like all the things that we get, like that first month at Triple H, it was like, holy shit, all these guys are coming back. Look at this, the wrestling on here.
He'll know what to do with them.
Ciampa's winning tournaments and being in the main events of Raw. This is awesome. Good wrestling on the show. All this stuff. Holy crap,
it's like
Kevin Owens is back being the prize fighter. Here we go. Ciampa's in a good role. Gargano's back. Candice LeRae's back. They brought Damage Control, and now we're coming up to the hot time of the year. We're getting there. It's Mania season. And it's like, all right, well, like all the people that came back are like not important at all. And the people that are important are the same people that were important before.
Can I ask you to find why is that, right? Like you said it earlier, Triple H, you got the keys. Stephanie, you guys got the keys. Like you can literally do, and I understand like right out of the gate, you don't want to completely overhaul everything. You might want to incrementally get some stuff in there because you got to tie up some storylines. You got to tie up but why aren't they just like, this is our product? Why is it like, let's just do what we've done for 30 years? It's got to be right. They're making billions of dollars. The record profits. So why change it? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
is that it? Because it's like
I have a couple of I waffle between two ideas, right? The one that I think makes the most sense is exactly what you said. It ain't broke. The company has never been this profitable. Never in its history has it been making this much money. Why would we screw around with the formula, especially going into renegotiation season? Mm-hmm. What if we start toying around with stuff and ratings really start to drop, and then Fox goes, well, it was good when what's his name was around, but now
top dollar.
But still, that's the crux of it, right? I think that has something to do with it. I also think that there are still a lot of Vince loyalists, nonetheless. Stephanie, Paul, their family. Mm-hmm. I think if they come in and they tear everything down to rebuild it up, I think that's an indictment on the legacy of Vince McMahon, something that maybe they don't want to do, which is plausible,
Yep, 100%.
Just don't want to completely torch what he did, because then that would be admitting that everything that had been going on previously was bad.
Like in sports, you don't fire the entire coaching staff. You start with the special teams, and then because you don't want that big hire to be like, oh, we screwed up.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So unless you're Urban, what's his name, right? Then
unless you do that,
you're out. You see you later.
Hit the books.
Best thing he did was show up on AEW television.
Truly.
Anyway, that's a little other discussion for another day.
And I don't know much about sports, but I know about that. So just to tell you, so I think it's maybe it's a little bit of both, but I mean, the thing here is that when Triple H took over, he had Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, right? When he's doing analysis of WWE's risks and strengths and weaknesses and challenges, or AEW as well, right? He would always list as a strength or an opportunity for AEW to grow the presence of Vince McMahon in WWE, right? Yeah. Which was beneficial to AEW in multiple ways. Mm-hmm. Now that he's gone and Triple H is there, Triple H had the opportunity to stick it to AEW. He really did. He had the door wide open to be like, all right, we're done with we're done with this kid, this upstart coming in good old fashioned WWE tradition, just go right for the jugular and do a bunch of shit, be a little combative, sneak some top talent over, whatever, but mostly change the way the shows are structured, the way they're presented, the way they do it. Just be like, no, look, this feels fresh. We're starting anew. And he really had the opportunity to do it, but he didn't. And it is a missed opportunity at this point because, it still feels like WWE. I'm not talking about the quality. It feels like WWE.
Yeah. And I think that's a good way to put it, because it's like if you watch Raw now, there is more wrestling on the shows than there was before, and there's things like that, but it still feels like it's the old. It still feels like it's the old show. And I feel like
a different coat of paint with different people.
Yes. And I feel like Triple H had a window of not only opportunity because he was given the keys to the castle, but he also had a window of the fans were pumped. It was like, oh,
good
shit.
Faith. It was a good faith.
It was like he had a buffer there where it was like, bro, do whatever you like. We got you, man. We're ready. We're pumped. We are ready. We've been waiting for this.
That's what I meant when I said stick it to AEW.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant. It's like to get the people so invested in our product again that stop talking about whatever you nerds are doing over here. They're all going to come to us, right? there's business decisions that I speculate on that make sense towards this. You don't want to rock the boat too much, renegotiation, so on and so forth. You got multiple business partners that you have to appease at the same time. We make it sound like it's easy, but it very likely is not,
Yeah.
But still, it's like you cannot but not look at all of this right now and be like, why isn't this better? Why is Raw's rating still dropping? Like, it makes no sense, because on one hand, I have, fellow podcasters going out there saying, oh, WWE is so good now. Well, if it's so good, why isn't the business through the roof? Because I look at it and it looks, smells the same. It's like,
you got the smell-o-vision with that Spencer Love money?
Listen,
I can't smell the product. I
have become the R&D department of Love Wrestling. So I'm trying to do sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he said it, like, he had that month or two where it was like, and I noticed the narrative too, like, all of a sudden all the AEW problems, the honeymoon was over, right? And WWE, it's all roses and sunshine again. And now it's just like, I've noticed that it's the WWE stuff is starting to creep back up where it's negative, and AEW is starting to kind of right some of the wrongs. And it's like, you said it, Trips, you had the shot. And I mean, you still have an opportunity. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's not like Bruce Prichard's taking the pen from Triple H. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to go down that road again, but you got to do some damage control, for a lack of a better word, where it's like, you had it. It was there.
And if there's anything more WWE than bringing back, a fan favorite wrestler, a guy that people have been clamoring to see return, Bray Wyatt, let's name him. I've been clamoring to see him return. Bring him back, hot as fuck, and then suddenly cools down because they got nothing for him, because he's doing the same thing week after week. And yet people are going to tell me, oh, they're building a story. But if the story is interesting, people are going to tune in and they're going to keep talking about it. They're going to get excited about it. We're in WWE gets into these holding patterns when it comes to their stories, right? Let's say a story goes from point A to point A, from point A to point B to point C, and point D is the conclusion. Let's say. Well, they're going to start at point A, they're going to go to point B, and then they might go to point C, but then they're going to stay in point C and point C and point C for a few weeks. Oh, you know what? They might even go back to point B at some point.
Yeah, and then go back to point C.
One line story, because I feel like we move ahead with Sami Zayn, but then Sami Zayn has to prove himself. But then Sami Zayn's okay, but then Sami Zayn has to prove himself again. I'm like, we've been telling the same story for 3 weeks now. Come on now. What's going on?
And it's one of those things that, like, AEW is kind of endearing and we all kind of love, is they'll give you Bryan Danielson versus Hangman on their weekly television and not save it for, they do less pay-per-views, but not save it for, like, why wait? If you got the strike while the iron's hot, do it, make the match. Yep. And then, hey, we got Throwback throwing some cheers our way, saying, what's good, dudes? It's been one insane week. Everybody's still sick in the house. Brody's up, and we're watching. Miss being on, and was an honor to be here. This is why you read. Keep killing it. I don't know when I'll be streaming again, but always love. We love you. And Warren was an amazing help when I started out. Yeah, Warren is awesome. You're awesome, Warren. Yeah, shout out to Throwback. Hope everybody gets better for the holidays. They're coming up. Warren helped me out when I first started. I was just some young little not even Pluggo yet. I wasn't even Pluggo.
Well, Warren gave you the name Pluggo, didn't he? Really?
He
yeah.
did.
So that's how.
If he ever needs a cut, if this ever gets big and Pluggo gets
you'll get a call.
You'll get a call from your.
Yeah, you'll get an invoice. You'll get an invoice in the mail going, hey, remember that?
Yeah, but I'll also be like, remember all those times I gave you all that Spencer money? Like, come on, dude. Like, let me have some. Let me live, bro. Let me profit off of the likeness that you gave me.
Oh, man. A lot of news.
I think it's a really interesting part. Like, it's all very interesting. Because there's a lot of, as wrestling fans, a lot of times we're going to think with our passion, with our love, with the love of wrestling and the love of the performers, because there's a lot of people that we legitimately are attached to, and we want them to do good. We want our favorites to do their thing well, and so on and so forth. But it's very interesting to see how the Triple H era will go moving forward, because there's a lot of business considerations that we don't necessarily see, that we can speculate on, that we can look at, considering that there's decades of precedent for WWE to see how they operate in their business. We're not just spitballing here. We can look to the past and be like, make assumptions and speculate. So it'll be interesting to see how the next year develops, because it's going to be another big year for renegotiations, for a new contract, new money. Yep. And then after that, see what Triple H does. You know what I mean? Even see what Triple H is going to do with his first WrestleMania.
That's where I'm like, because we're getting to the season. I am very interested to see what Triple H does with his first WrestleMania and where he's going to go. Because right now, you're going to have to figure out. And, the rumors are that he has his top matches set in stone or whatever they are. Cool. That's great. Hopefully they're great stories that are getting, and there's rumor that it's not rumor. It's confirmed that John Cena's coming back around for Mania. And, there's still the rumor of the Raw, all these things happening. That's where I'm at. I'm very interested to see, like, okay, we got the Rumble coming up in about 7 weeks, 6-7 weeks now. Things like that. Throwback. We talked about that a little while ago when we kind of started diving into the Vince topic. Yes, the TV deals are almost coming up. Thank you for some more cheers there. We appreciate you, buddy. I'm very interested to see the direction they go, because it's WrestleMania season, and that's the season where the most eyes are on WWE. It's their season. From the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, that's the season. And they're going to have to do something to really garner some real excitement. And the matches need to be good. And it's not just about the matches. It's about the stories and where we're heading to what's going to get us to those Mania moments. And, hopefully. Go ahead.
What about all the talent and all this, right? That there's the reports that he's not happy with them. What about all this talent that re-signed or came back saying, okay, Trips is in charge now. Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing the same song and dance I was doing before, if not worse. I can't imagine, maybe Johnny Gargano, for instance, just his bank account feels much better, more secure. But is he really getting more out of this storyline than he was, in the Black and Gold brand, or what he may be able to do on the independent scene? I'm just using him as an example because he's fresh in my mind. But Mia Yim, is this stuff Mia Yim is doing with the OC much better than what she just had a killer match with Mickie James on Impact. Is she going, oh man, did I really fall for this? And I came back and it's not what I had hoped. I don't know. I mean, I guess those stories will be told when they ultimately leave the company or whatever, but this is
when you have to give a year, a couple of years to see.
Yeah.
Because there's always this thing in WWE where you bring in someone and then he has to pay their dues. They have to pay their dues, right? They have to lose the matches. I'm like, why is Johnny Gargano paying fucking dues on main?
He bled for your brand. He gave you matches of the decade in NXT.
He gave you the greatest story
ever told
that was told in your whole company. The Ciampa, that's the greatest thing that happened. And
he filled basketball arenas for you, Trips.
Yeah, literally. And it's just one of those things where,
we got to take that L to Omos to show us that you're down.
Yeah, and we got to see where it goes, and again, when you look back on it, he's only been in charge since August. So it's only been, and like Warren says, that's where you got to see. You got to give it a year. You got to give it whatever. It's only been 4 months. Again, it's been not. You're muted, bro. I can't hear you.
I said, name that notable Johnny Gargano match since he's been here, since he came back.
There hasn't been one. No, that's what I'm saying.
It's the Moss.
Yeah, it's against the Moss where he got squashed.
God damn.
So
Throwback sent another cheer real quick.
He said he's heading out, but he says, thank you, Warren, for being a part of the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls. Keep killing it. We'll always be watching and supporting. Amazing stuff. Appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate all the love.
Why he keeps plugging that Anchor FM stuff. That was bad. That was not great.
Maybe he wants to embarrass you, so he wants people to
Pluggo
go
used
see it.
to do podcast in his car because
you got to start somewhere, brother. You got to start somewhere, brother.
Warren. If anybody called me during said podcast, it would cut it off. Wow. I didn't know what I was doing.
Go. Well, at least Throwback was a fan. He says it was amazing.
I appreciate you. I guess I'm my harshest critic. When we all look back at our stuff that we started out doing, we go, I can't believe I thought that was a good idea. But I had Throwback on. Warren was on. I got to talk to some really cool people back in the day. I guess you got to start somewhere. Now I'm here hanging out with you gentlemen.
And speaking of amazing, it's always an amazing time when Warren talks by, especially when he's here for full episodes hanging on. And he's got some time on Thursdays now, obviously, with his show moving to Tuesdays a little while back. So we get to have him on for, he used to just pop in and do the quick run-ins because he had to go do a show of his own, but now a little more freedom. So when he's available and we can hop him on, especially on a week like this where there's just a lot of shit going on. It's one of those things where, we get to enjoy the 2 hours with Warren. I'm sure he's like, I just want to get the fuck away from these guys. No,
I come here and I enjoy, it's the kind of thing. Look, a little inside baseball here. I always tell I tell Kristen, I was invited to do this podcast. Yeah. And most of the time it's like, she gives a little feedback, we talk about it. But every time it's like, the Beards invited me, like today. And like, Pluggo just invited me to go on the Beards. Just, cool, have fun. It's like, because that's what it is. Like, you guys are amazing, and it's always super fun to come here. We always have these great chats, and it's a good environment. It's a good spot. And you know what? Here's the thing. On top of it all, it's like, I've known Spenny for a while. I've known Spenny since I started doing this, like almost 5 years ago at this point, or is it 5 years? I lost count. And Spencer and I, like, we've always kept close and so on and so. So, if on top of that, he's running his project, he's doing he's promoting wrestling now, like, even on top of that, just to be able to be a part of this as well. And it's weird to say, I don't want to say that for me to show support as if like I'm someone really important, but to show gratitude at the same time for Spenny and for that relationship that we have, to be able to pop on shows and under his banner and stuff like that. That's like, it all makes sense to me. It's like a big family to me. So it's very natural for me to be with you guys. It's not even an effort. It's not even like, should I do it? It's like, no, all right, let's do it. I enjoy it. Thank you for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
The same for us. Like, you're one of the guys. No, and we looked up to you. Like I said, I literally just said, like, I got my start. I was some young guy, not young, but young in this game, where I was like, I want to do this. And like one day I was sitting there and I was like, Warren, I love his vibe. I'm going to ask him. And I kept talking myself out of it. I was like, shoot your shot, man. Just ask him. Like, what's the worst that can happen? He says no.
Remember correctly, I big dogged you for a month.
Yeah. Right? And then you were like, oh, hey, by the way, saw your message. Like, I'm totally down. And I was just like, Mrs. Pluggo, I was like, oh shit, he responded. Because I talked to her like you talked to Kristen. I'm like, I got this opportunity to do this. And I was like, he's the man. Like, I don't. And she's like, why are you, who? And I was like, you don't understand. It's more
like who? Of course. Most people.
I still remember when Pluggo told me, we had probably been doing this for, I don't know, a few months at the time. And he was like, hey, Warren reached out to me. I'm going to do a pre-show. I'm going to do a pick show on his channel. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. But I was filled with jealous rage. Filled.
Both of you on.
I know that you had both of us. And I was like, right. Yeah. But like, I was just like, you son of a bitch. Good for you. I hate you. But I was like, good for you. That's how I felt.
Well, and that's for those that are still chilling with us, that's how the name Pluggo kind of started. I was always in Warren's chats and I was Wrestling Plug Inc. That was the moniker. Yeah. And you were like, that's too much to say. You're Pluggo now. And then when I started doing this, I was still just John, my shoot name, and just like, and I messaged Spencer one day and I was like, I kind of become like, that's the persona. Like, everybody just calls me that now. Yeah. What do you think about me just switching to that? And he was like, no, go for it. That's what we call you anyway. It's like, there it is. And a star was born under the Warren tree. But no, we
all right.
generally look forward to this. Let's pay our bills and then we will let you get on to your big star, your big dog in ways. You probably got other things you got going on today. So let's pay those bills, JPJ.
We'll pay them.
We'll plug Warren shit. We'll plug our shit. We'll get out of here.
That works for me. Well, we pay them bills by going and talking about RK Athletics. Rich King, fantastic professional wrestler. You seen the body on that guy? It's like a Greek god statue. There's not an ounce of fat on that guy. And he runs a personal training outfit. He is a personal trainer. And whether it's meal plans, whether it's you want to get in a gym routine, you want to lift weights, you want to build muscle, or you just want to start moving more physically, feeling better about yourself, Rich King is one of the best when it comes to stuff like that. You can follow him at RK Athletics 1 on all social media platforms. He is the guy you want to talk to. So if you are in the Edmonton area or virtually, he can do it both ways now. Definitely reach out to RK Athletics and follow them on social media at RK Athletics.
I can confirm. I reached out to Rich King this morning. We've got the slight beef within the show over who invented sparklers, right? He is such a professional. He answered my fitness questions. Because I am going to try to start eating a little healthier, getting a little better shape. Just my overall vibe. I'm leaning too much on Slim Jims and energy drinks, as we've talked before. So I'm trying to change up my eating habits, trying to just change up some lifestyle stuff. It can't do anything but help me. He was a consummate professional, gave me a bunch of cool tips. So even if you just have general questions, reach out to Rich. Dude knows his stuff. Gave me a lot of cool ideas to maybe help me keep down the path of eliminating. I haven't had an energy drink in 3 days, guys.
Oh, proud of you. Proud of you. Are you having withdrawals?
And no Slim Jim either.
Are you having withdrawals of the energy drinks?
No, what I did like the first day or so is I just drank coffee to get the caffeine.
I was gonna say, did you like substitute?
I substituted, and then today I kind of weaned down a little bit on the coffee, just trying to I still need the caffeine fix, but monsters aren't good for you. But anyway, that's the Pluggo weight loss journeys.
There it is. Hey, it's got to start somewhere. Somewhere. And then you also want to head over to manscaped.com.
You got to.
You got to. You got to stay fresh. You got to stay clean. Especially when it comes to downstairs.
And if you're going to start,
for us gentlemen, you don't want downstairs looking like what we got on our. You don't want it. You don't want it. Your partner probably doesn't want it.
More of the Warren Hayes look. If you're down there,
little pop in, say hello, nice and easy, a little bit, and then that's it is what it is.
If you don't mind my saying, you don't want a crotch fro, is what.
yeah,
that's fine.
100%.
Say what you want.
Yeah. And if you go to manscaped.com and you tell them that Love Wrestling, you tell them that we sent you there, and you put in that promo code Love Wrestling, you will receive 20% off your first order. And not only that, you will receive free shipping. And that free shipping goes where, Pluggo? Worldwide. You could be living anywhere. You could be in Canada with Warren. You could be in the States with us. You could be in friggin' Antarctica. It don't matter.
We got you.
Free shipping worldwide. Go to manscaped.com, put in that promo code Love Wrestling, tell them that you love our little partnership we got going on with them and that we sent you. You'll get 20% off. Yeah, and Christmas time is coming. We got a little bit over a week for Christmas. You can probably get your gifts and delivered on time. Great gifts. Go over to Manscaped.
If not, you can build that anticipation. Say we got more Manscaped coming. It's coming. Just be ready. Your boss will thank you. Your partner will thank you. And we thank you, Warren. Plug your stuff. Ophelia learned the crotch fro.
Yeah. That's what she's here to learn a new phrase every time.
So if Ophelia's going around her shoot life saying crotch fro.
Yeah. Where the hell did you get that?
So Warren,
these two guys on third. Yeah.
Let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you. You should follow Warren. He's amazing. Listen, good times. Do your thing.
Thank you so much. Well, the magic all happens on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, where I record the podcast live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern is when we do it. We start off the show. We usually start off the show with something a little light, non-wrestling related. These past few weeks, we've been watching cooking shows.
I was going to say, yes, you've been doing the cooking show thing, which has been a lot of fun.
Terrible cooking shows. Just some completely atrocious things. And then so we have a good time to warm up, and then I get into the podcast proper. If you can't make it on Tuesdays, that's fine, because it's available on demand on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, or even on your favorite podcast application. Holy shit. And on top of that, I do a weekly Dynamite review every Thursday. So the day after I record it, I do myself a nice deep dive into the previous Dynamite, and yeah, so we have a good time. So there's one out today because of that, and some goodies if you become a member. But look, youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, Mr. Warren Hayes show on your favorite podcast app, twitter.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. Not dead yet, so might as well use it. Yeah, that about sums it up.
Not dead like Hive. That came.
Yeah, that didn't last too long, huh?
Is it dead?
Already dead. I never joined it, but I already dead. Already dead.
Nobody uses it.
Unbelievable. Pluggo, do your thing. Let the people know where they can find you. Let the people know where they can find us and what else they can find here on Love Wrestling.
Well, you can find me at Pluggo _ or Pluggo in general. Just look it up on Twitter. All the Twitter, Facebook, Israel, all of the spaces there. At B2B, at B2 Beards for the show page where you can keep us up to date on everything we're doing. We're going to get back after it. Retail life for us has been kind of hectic. So
this is the time of year, man. This is the demanding time of year. Let me tell you. You never
know where you're going to find us. We're definitely going to do more stuff as we head into the new year. We're just trying to make it through that Christmas hump, so to speak. But that's where you can find us. That's all I got really going on right now. So
stay tuned. We will be the Beardies. Will be coming out soon, the second edition of the Beardy Award. So stay tuned on our social medias for those coming out.
Oh yeah, we got that coming up. The voting will start.
This
weekend.
Yes.
If we can
be on the lookout. Social medias, following us there.
Hook for all the votes.
100%. You can find me at Joseph_Poulin Jr. on that Twitter machine until it dies. Like Warren said, if it's still alive, we should still be on there. You can find me over there. You can find me on JPJ Loves Gaming over on the Twitch machine as well, playing some games, having a good time over there. Give us a follow here at Love Wrestling. We got stuff all week. You can catch me on Thursday here between two beards at 8 p.m. Firmly AEW earlier in the days with Drew. We got the Sunday brunch gimmick. We got the Goose Call. We got reacts to Raw with me and Spencer. We got reacts to SmackDown with our buddy Lawrence. We got some stuff almost every day of the week here on Love Wrestling. So give us a follow. Follow Warren and all his stuff. Follow B2 Beards. We all appreciate you, Warren. Again, appreciate you being here, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for the pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And until next week, all you guys know the drill. For Pluggo, for Warren, I am JPJ. Peace out.